It's so crazy. It's so despicable, and yet it's stopped being surprising now. P. Diddy just got sentenced to 50 months in prison. Yeah, he got 4 years in the slammer. That's it. Basically, the Jeffrey Epstein of the music industry gets away with a slap on the wrist. I mean, they're probably going to be supplying him with baby oil in the cell at this point. He just got 50 months in prison. That's it. And truthfully, I'm not even confident they're going to keep him incarcerated for the full 50 months. I don't even think he'll be in there that long. He'll be in and out of the slammer lickety-split. I feel like it'll be like that scene in SpongeBob where SpongeBob and Patrick steal a balloon on free balloon day, so the cops, like, close the cell for a split second and tell him to, scram. That's what I think's going to happen with P. Diddy here. This is just abhorrent. 50 months for the diddler. We gotta start, looking into the judge here for a second to see if he got invited to the next freak-off when he's, let loose. Because, how is this even possible? I had been keeping up with the case. I had already given you the update about the things that they found him not guilty on, which was absolutely stunning in the first place. But it's just insanity. It's absolute insanity. Everybody knows he's guilty. There are decades of evidence, mountains of evidence about all of his crimes. A vile, evil worm. And he gets 50 months. This is just clear, irrefutable proof unfolding in front of your eyes that some people genuinely are above the law. Actually, it's not conspiratorial. It is just the facts of it. It's crazy. Your Honor, did you stop to consider for a moment that my client has an unbelievable amount of money? Okay, just take that into consideration. I'm not gonna bother going into, the particulars here about where apparently P. Diddy was so broken about, the 4 years he has to spend in prison, or the strong face the judge put on there for a second while shaking his finger, waggling his little digit here about, justice and all the sick shit that Diddy did. Because it's all just fucking performative. It's not real. Because at the end of the day, justice wasn't really served. 4 years in jail for the diddler? The fucking baby oil behemoth? That's unhinged. That's just so twisted. But that's the times we're living in. It is crazy the times we're living in. I also just saw today fucking Benjamin Netanyahu just openly stating in front of the whole world his plans on brainwashing because so many people are turning on Israel. So he was asked what he plans to do about it. And you know what? Since I'm just yapping, I'm just going to go ahead and go on this topic now too.
I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical support for the state of Israel? What's our backup plan to be strong, outside the diaspora?
Christian influencers, okay? You said, we talked about the woke right, and you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke Reich, because these people, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're loonies.
Yeah, that's his strategy, a galaxy brain chess maneuver here. Call everyone that doesn't support Israel Nazis. Whoa, holy shit. This he's alting right now. Wow. So basically, if you're not, eating out of this guy's gooch and supporting Israel on everything, you're a Nazi.
To secure that part of the base of our support in the United States, that is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers.
Just in case you forgot, Israel literally pays influencers to suck their wiener and just be these loyal little lapdogs to always just lap up whatever Netanyahu's gooch is sweating out. It's unbelievable. And he's just being super open about it. He is just saying that in front of people's faces and nobody seems to care.
And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. And the most important ones are social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. X. That's very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot, and I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now.
Spoiler warning for those without thinking caps on. Censorship. He's talking about censorship. Damn to free speech. Benjamin Netanyahu's got other ideas. It's something he's talked about plenty in the past. He's not exactly shy with it. He's very loosey-goosey with the censorship topic, and he's talking about it again. He recognizes how everyone sharing videos and information about the atrocities and all the slaughter of the Palestinians at the hands of the IDF is making people turn on Israel. So now genocidal freak is going up to Elon Musk. Oh, Mr. Musk, can we do something about, like, all these pesky voices sharing all of this? It's censorship. Super weird, by the way, how a foreign nation seems to have so much pull over things happening in our homeland. Why can Netanyahu come out with his full ass on display, talking about like how algorithms on the platforms here need to cater to him, and also he should be talking to Elon about Twitter so they can do something together in regards to like the people not liking Israel anymore and what they're having access to. Why is that? Like, that shouldn't be allowed, right? Like, what the fuck? This guy gets to come in and, like, completely wash our fucking freedom of speech in order to fit his censorship agenda? Cool. How about no, goober? Like, come on. This should be an outrage to everybody, but it's not. It's just not. And that's just the signs of the times that we're in. Like, I made a video the other day about Ted Cruz with his slip-up where he said to stop attacking pedophiles.
Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles? I want you to look at what happened when the National Guard went to D.C.
Quite the Freudian slip. And as I said, there's no way he meant to say that. But he never corrects it or anything. No one points it out. And what he's talking about didn't pertain to pedophiles at all. His crime statistics were robbery, homicide, and rape. 2 out of 3 of those he covered previously. The last one, robbery, that doesn't relate to stopping attacking pedophiles. Like, those two don't connect. You can't put the square piece into the circle hole on that one. And I saw people saying that it was intellectually dishonest to paint it as anything other than just like an embarrassing flub. Which is fair enough, I suppose, because I'm not trying to make the claim that this is him fully admitting to things and he's going full mask off. Ted Cruz did, notably, reject the release of the Epstein files. Like, from all available information, it seems he has been against the release of the Epstein files, judging from his votes in regards to it. So I did pose that, here's a little food for thought. There may be a little something there, possibly, but overall, the video, I was just taking the piss out of it. That's really it. But that was somehow incendiary and made people mad about, like, oh, to portray him clearly having a flub there with his words is absurd. And I just don't understand how we've reached this point where you can't even, like, point out the absurdity of something so fucking preposterous like a politician saying, stop attacking pedophiles. It's crazy to me. But I saw people putting words in his mouth saying what he meant to say, stop defending pedophiles. But again, that doesn't fit with what he's actually talking about here in the full context of what's going on. So why is he even bringing up pedophiles in the first place? It's super fucking weird. That's all I was saying, and making fun of him for it. The same way I've made fun of other flubs and weird stuff from politicians, like Biden, when he'd talk about, like, kids rubbing his leg hairs and shit like that. But things have just changed so fucking drastically. It's a totally different ballgame. But I'm gonna harp on Ted Cruz for a moment, because I just don't understand the glaze. I don't know how he has fucking hog riders. I do not get the pedophiles that will defend him tooth and nail, when he himself has said that the reason he got into Congress 13 years ago is to defend the interests of Israel.
I came into Congress 13 years ago
Yes.
with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Great.
And I've worked every day to do that.
So you are an American politician whose sole purpose for being here is to defend the interests of a foreign nation. Here, domestically. I just don't know how that's not treasonous. I'm just going to say it. I don't get how that is not just like full-blown treason. I saw quite a few takes when it came out about Israel paying influencers for like positive PR and stuff, and people were tossing the word treason around in regards to that. This is that times 50. I don't know how this one gets a pass. I don't get how that gets a pass. He is supposed to represent the state of Texas. You would think as an American politician, you would be prioritizing the interests of the nation that you're representing. But instead, he is openly saying that he got into this for the sole reason of supporting a foreign nation here. Now, again, I'm not the most politically savvy guy on the planet. I'm a fucking Neanderthal. I get that. I am a Cro-Magnon man when it comes to this. But I just don't understand. I cannot wrap my head around how people will support that. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. He's also never there anytime Texas needs him, like in the event of like tragedies and shit, like with the flood, the freeze from quite a few years back. He always seems to be on vacation. Like, it's just, it's... I'll stop harping on Ted Cruz in particular. I'm just fucking blabbering here. It's 4 a.m. Obviously, it's another insomnia-fueled evening, so I can't help but just blabber. But my God, it's just crazy, the times we're living in. Anyway, that's really about it. So, yeah. What an infuriating and sad day. I guess all the baby oil paid off for P. Diddy because he was too slippery for the justice system. I cannot believe it. They have now reached a verdict on all the charges, and he has been acquitted of the most serious ones. The Lord of Lube wiggles his way out of it somehow, despite overwhelming evidence to support the allegations against P. Diddy about the decades worth of evil, criminal activities and actions he has done, terrorizing the music industry and so many individuals. It seems like the dawn of dildos is about to get away with a slap on the wrist. And maybe not even that much. He has been found guilty on 2 of the lesser charges, which could carry a maximum of 20 years in prison. But I've completely lost faith in the system here. I have to imagine this is all just now horseradish and barnacles. I think he will probably just get away with like 6 months probation or some shit.
5 counts. We have a mixed verdict here. Again, count 1 as it relates to racketeering, not guilty. Count 2 as it relates to sex trafficking, not guilty. Count 3, guilty. Count 4, not guilty. Count 5, guilty.
Those 2 counts he was found guilty on, that was like Weenie Hut Jr. level charges compared to the rest, and it's something the defense, I imagine, was extremely pleased to have been found guilty on versus the rest. They were so happy, in fact, that reportedly P. Diddy even stood up and started clapping. Literally like a Tumblr fanfic. He stood up, started clapping, and then like his friends and family erupted into applause. Now the judge is considering what bail should be, and we move on to the next stage, which will be the sentencing for these 2 charges, which carry a maximum of 10 years each. He's not going to be seeing the maximum. He probably won't even be seeing the minimum. They might just let him walk away with being forced to play League of Legends solo queue for like 2 months or something, and that'll be his punishment. It is such a fucking joke what just happened here. I actually still can't believe it. It is sickening. So I truly wouldn't be surprised if he just fully walks free from this, and I guess we can expect the grand reopening of Puffy Flavor Camp. Everyone out there, sleep in fear. Make sure you're sleeping on your back, because if you sleep on your stomach, P. Diddy might just break into your house in the middle of the night and shove a dildo up your ass. It is still just so fucking unbelievable to me. I thought this was dead to rights. Not only because of the overwhelming evidence, but also his team wasn't exactly a cohesive unit. Like, not that long ago, one of his big lawyers quit, saying he could no longer, under any circumstances, represent him, serve as a member of his council. And somehow, they were still able to squeak a win out from between P. Diddy's greased butt cheeks here. I don't know, did they promise, like, freak-off invitations to the jury? I have no clue. I don't get it. I really, truly do not understand how this just happened.
It's a mixed verdict, but it is a stunning victory for the defense. The Mann Act, these charges, these were the easiest for prosecutors to prove, the lowest hanging fruit, merely required showing that state lines were crossed for the purpose to engage in prostitution. We saw a lot of evidence on these charges, did not have that element, Laura, of force, fraud, or coercion. And this carries the lightest sentence of these charges. It is a maximum of 10 years. And keep in mind, when you're talking about maximums terms aren't the rule. They are the exception. They're for the most exceptional and severe cases. So now you're talking about a sentence that's potentially in the lower range with time served because he's been behind bars.
Yeah, again, he's definitely not seeing the maximum penalty for those charges. I would be surprised if he even saw the minimum. My guess would be, and of course I haven't passed the bar, so this is just fucking Neanderthal spitballing. My guess would be they'll weigh the time served behind bars throughout this case as like you've learned your lesson, and wiggle their finger, don't do it again, and give him some really light punishment. Very, very light sentencing. And then when he's out on bail or full-blown walks free, I imagine baby oil will go extinct. And I predict that there will be a freak-off the likes of which the cosmos has never seen. It'll be filled with so much degeneracy that it will give birth to Slanesh in the warp in real life. It's going to be a Warhammer 40k event. It's just so fucking despicable, man. It really is.
The fact that these sex trafficking charges, specifically with respect to Cassie Ventura, means that the jury was convinced by the defense, at least with respect to reasonable doubt, that the commercial sex, i.e. the freak-offs, were not connected to some of this violence, that there was not that force, fraud, or coercion element. That is, by far, from a penalty perspective, the most serious. It carried a 15-year minimum. So that is a huge distinction.
Really feels like if you've got enough money, somehow a lot of those very serious, very well-documented things just never really seem to stick in court for some reason. It's so weird how that works. It's so odd how we see that happen so many times. I don't know. Something seems a bit fishy there. From everything I've seen from a couple of lawyers discussing it, the big thing here seems that the RICO charges weren't conveyed well enough for the jury to understand, and that it could have been, like, difficult in the first place as a potential overcharging on P. Diddy, so that was like an uphill battle. Obviously, I don't understand all the nuance to how that shit works in court, like how it all shakes down the fucking Rube Goldberg machine that is arguing RICO charges. I'm not Saul Goodman. But outside of that, the lawyers also expressed how stunned they were that he was found not guilty on the sex trafficking by force and coercion. It seems like, at least from the lawyers that I've read and watched from, they were also very surprised that somehow the jury wasn't convinced on those. That one really did seem like a pretty big slam dunk in the case. Like, at least most sane human beings would think so, but somehow it didn't stick. Somehow it didn't shake out that way. To be found not guilty on those is baffling. Actually baffling. And I went to a live stream where some lawyers were talking, and reading the chat, it will make you lose all possible faith that there's real people online. There are so many people that are elated, celebrating that P. Diddy is free, and saying he should go as far as suing the government for the charges they brought against him. Unironically, I saw someone donate saying, does P. Diddy have a case against the government to sue them for this? Holy shit. What? I don't know how so many people have been poisoned by stupidity. Like an action, there must be some kind of hole in the ozone layer that's letting pure concentrated stupid come through, and it is just destroying neurons at an alarming rate. Such an unfortunate outcome. There's a lot of people that are now going to need to be looking over their shoulder here with this P. Diddy verdict. One of them being a bodyguard who said if P. Diddy walks, he's going to need to go into hiding. I think that's not an exaggeration. He most likely will, in order to stay alive. This is a dangerous man with an extremely well-recorded history of horrible shit he has done, who is now getting let off very easily here. Now, if you're a sane, sensible person, you're probably pretty angered by the outcome, but we don't live in a world where everyone's sane and sensible. There is a not small group of people, the Free Diddy drones, that are very, very pleased. They're very excited that P. Diddy is going to be most likely getting let off super, super easily. They are elated right now, these fucking weirdos. They're acting like they're part of the crew, part of the ship, like they'll get the invite to the next freak-off. And they are so happy. Fucking weirdos out there. It's crazy how anyone can view this as anything other than a disaster, a fucking travesty, where the justice system just failed so many people. Yeah, I'll stop ranting and raving about it. That's really about it. See ya. The case against P. Diddy, the baby oil billionaire, one of the most vile individuals in music industry history, has been getting more and more horrible things about it coming to light. It would take hours to go over every crime he's accused of. It is a list that goes on, filled with the most awful, unimaginable things possible. It would be easier to talk about crimes he isn't accused of committing. Like, he probably started dying and dashing just for the sake of adding more crimes to his resume. And today we received some new information with one of the many celebrities that associated with P. Diddy over the years, Jay-Z, who is now accused in a civil lawsuit of raping a 13-year-old at an after party with P. Diddy and an unnamed female celebrity who was there watching.
Since Combs was indicted by federal prosecutors last fall, these parties he was known for hosting and what celebrities may have attended has been the subject of intense scrutiny. But the blast radius around the star had been relatively contained until now.
The P. Diddy party list is a lot like the Epstein list in terms of rich and powerful people that attended them. And a lot of people, myself included, have wondered if these names will ever even see the light of day because they have the means of burying it potentially. But luckily, that doesn't seem to be the case here now that Jay-Z has been named. But they should all be named, and hopefully they will over the course of this case. Make like a game of guess who and name them. Because the shit that happened at these parties is terrible, horrible, just deplorable shit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we learned that P. Diddy threw a party where they dug up Jeffrey Dahmer's corpse and paraded around Weekend at Bernie's style or something. Like, the things that have reportedly happened there are things that everyone associated needs to face consequences for. And now Jay-Z is the first one that has been named.
The anonymous woman, who was 13 at the time, described in the lawsuit as being drugged and raped at an MTV VMAs after party she says Combs hosted in 2000. According to the suit, she recalls accepting a drink from a waitress that made her feel woozy and lightheaded before she says she was raped by Jay-Z and then Combs in a bedroom as an unnamed female celebrity watched.
There's a lot of people that have been running defense, kind of just playing like the pseudo PR department for celebrities that have attended P. Diddy's parties but are innocent of any wrongdoing, saying things like, yeah, they may have attended a party, hootenanny or two of P. Diddy's, but they didn't know anything was bad there. They didn't know there were any kids there or any victims of sex trafficking. They just went to a party. They had no clue. And I feel like that's a load of fucking horseradish because you would know that that is a child. That is a 13-year-old. That is a toddler. They just stopped believing in Santa Claus. There's no way you wouldn't know that there were kids there if there's 13-year-olds running around. That's craziness. And that wouldn't be a huge red flag to any of these celebrities. Like, it's not normal to have a 13-year-old at a fucking VMA after party. And a 13-year-old being served a drink, like that waitress would know they just served a drink to a child. Even if the waitress didn't know that it was spiked, why are you serving a 13-year-old kid alcohol? This is why I think everyone that attended these parties is very likely guilty of some heinous shit. So this 13-year-old was allegedly served the spiked drink that made her feel woozy and was then raped by Jay-Z and then P. Diddy, and apparently an unnamed female celebrity was watching. I'm pretty surprised they didn't name the female celebrity here. I don't really understand why. Maybe that's for like a different case coming up.
Jay-Z swiftly issuing a statement Sunday calling the claims heinous and accusing the woman's attorney of trying to blackmail him, suggesting the attorney had tried to seek a settlement first, adding, quote, I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. My heart and support goes out to the true victims in the world. The couple will have to explain the, quote, cruelty and greed of people to their children. Combs, too, has denied any allegations of sexual assault.
Jay-Z is strongly denying these claims, and one thing that's important to note here is that the lawyer, Tony Busby, he's not squeaky clean. This is no saint here. He's got some dirty laundry of his own. He actually did get sued not too long ago for an alleged assault on a former client, and then got sued again for extortion, where a celebrity and their team have accused Tony Buzbee of throwing out wildly false, horrific allegations, fabricated allegations of sexual assault, and has a pattern of leveling baseless and fabricated malicious allegations at high-profile individuals and threatening to name them publicly if they fail to pay exorbitant sums of money. So fundamentally what they're claiming is that Tony Buzbee indulges in rumor to leverage bad headlines and bad press for celebrities, so that way they will just settle out of court with him. Now, it's very possible that that extortion lawsuit is from a celebrity who has attended these Diddy parties and is panicking, trying to cover their own ass by trying to assassinate Tony Buzbee's character. That's possible too. There's no way of knowing for sure right now. I just thought it was worth mentioning that Tony Buzbee does have a little poop on his butt. But that doesn't mean, and there's no evidence to suggest, that he or the victims he represents are lying about their allegations. This case has just begun. It's the first one that has named another celebrity outside of P. Diddy, so we'll see as the facts continue to come out. Right now, there's no evidence to suggest that this is all made up, and there's also no evidence to confirm any of the allegations, because it's still just too early into this case. So I'll keep my finger on the pulse of it. I'm sure this will be a very big case that'll be talked about a lot. And I do want to just say, even if it turns out that this case isn't real against Jay-Z, I still don't believe Jay-Z is innocent of, like, wrongdoing. He was so close with P. Diddy for so many years, there is no fucking way. There is no chance on God's green earth that Jay-Z didn't know about the horrible shit that P. Diddy was doing. Because these parties, like, it was all right in their faces. It wasn't a secret, per se. Like, the celebrities that attended knew that there was some foul, fishy shit going on there. If you had kids running around at parties. And even if this 13-year-old that Tony Buzbee's representing turns out, like, never even went to a P. Diddy party or something, there still are tons and tons of other cases with overwhelming amounts of evidence to suggest that there were kids at these P. Diddy parties. And celebrities, I think, would know what a kid looks like versus an adult. So I just don't think someone as close to P. Diddy as Jay-Z was would possibly be squeaky clean here. Like, they would know about a lot of these crimes. Even if he didn't directly participate in them, I think him knowing about it and refusing to do anything is still extremely fucking horrible too. But again, this case has just come out, so we'll learn about whether or not these claims are true as it develops.
Now, in a statement posted online, Buzbee, the lawyer, acknowledged sending Jay-Z a letter prior to filing this complaint, prior to this whole thing, seeking a confidential mediation, but says his client never demanded a penny from Jay-Z. At the time, she is now seeking an unspecified amount in damages, guys.
Jay-Z did post a lengthy response, basically saying Tony is an ambulance chaser that's attempting to blackmail him and extort him for money, using some absolutely horrific allegations to try and have him cave in and settle and just pay a bunch of money based on nothing at all. And Tony Buzbee then responded saying that it's not blackmail at all, and says, Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He even filed this frivolous case under a pseudonym. And then he confirms that he did send a letter prior to this lawsuit, but it was looking for confidential mediation and never demanded a single penny from Jay-Z. Now, I haven't passed the bar. I barely passed my fucking SATs, so I'm not going to pretend to understand how lawsuits work, but what I do know is that in a civil lawsuit, Jay-Z is not necessarily going to go to jail if it turns out all of this is true and he's found guilty on all counts of this lawsuit. It would then go to paying out an unspecified amount of damages, as the news segment covered there. So I don't understand the sending a letter for confidential mediation and exactly what that entails. I really don't get the whole scope of it. All I know is that this is the first celebrity outside of P. Diddy that has now been accused of horrible things at P. Diddy's parties, and I think that this will be the first of many. Again, I really feel there is a huge number of celebrities that either participated in or knew about a lot of the illegal, horrible, vile shit that was happening with P. Diddy and his parties. And I guess we'll see if Jay-Z is one of those celebrities that knew or participated soon enough. Like, this case just started, so we'll see what happens. That's really about it. See ya. Hello, I just wanted to give you all an actual update on the P. Diddy trial in the midst of this flood of nonsense that's spreading around about it. Those AI videos making garbage claims like, a new key witness was called to the stand. It's David Copperfield, who dropped a bombshell about his secret MySpace page that told all. This nonsense is just going insano style, so I wanted to tap in here real quick and give you a brief, real update on something very important that just happened in the trial in regards to Kid Cudi's testimony. Now, so far, there have been quite a few very powerful testimonies that are strengthening the case against him, I would say, and Kid Cudi's is the most recent, and also the one that's had a lot of buzz and a lot of incorrect information about. Now, for those that aren't familiar with the lore here, the reason Kid Cudi would be called here is because he and Cassie had a relationship. And according to Cassie, in her civil suits, when P. Diddy found out about it, he was enraged and took action against Kid Cudi. Also, there are tons and tons of claims that have multiple supporting witnesses about the physical abuse that he inflicted upon Cassie. But in regards to Kid Cudi on the stand, it was focused on what P. Diddy allegedly did to him in retaliation, finding out that he had a relationship with Cassie. So Kid Cudi went up there and started to corroborate pretty much everything. So one thing that he recalls is that he had received a phone call from Sean Combs' former assistant, Capricorn Clark. Now, Sean Combs, that's the real name of P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka Puffy Flavor Camp Headmaster, aka Bubba Baby Oil Big Boy. And this phone call that he received from Capricorn Clark was letting him know P. Diddy was inside of his house, and then Kid Cudi started driving home, called P. Diddy, and said that he sounded calm and responded that he was waiting for him to arrive so they could speak. Kid Cudi also said that Clark sounded very scared, sounded like she was on the verge of tears. Kid Cudi said ultimately no one was inside, but his dog was locked in a bathroom, whereas he normally lets his dog roam around the house freely, and some of the gifts he received from Chanel had also been opened. That's why you're seeing headlines like this pop up, by the way, about P. Diddy breaking into his home and unwrapping his fucking Christmas presents. It's referring to those Chanel gifts. Anyway, apparently after unboxing those gifts, the Grinch was no longer there, but Kid Cudi told the court that he had planned on confronting and fighting P. Diddy for this, but eventually decided against it because he didn't know how serious it would be, didn't know who P. Diddy was with, so he ultimately called the police and made a report instead. He then also made a mention that his dog's behavior, he claims, changed and became more jittery and on edge all the time. I found this little tidbit kind of interesting, where that statement about the dog is something that was actually kind of contentious here for the defense attorneys, saying that they didn't want Kid Cudi to testify about his dog being traumatized by the experience because he did not want dog lovers on the jury to be swayed. So the judge said Kid Cudi could only talk about the immediate impact on his dog, not any long-term consequences. Now, the big thing, the major thing that a lot of people remember is the claim that P. Diddy blew up Kid Cudi's car. So on that, Kid Cudi does say that he believes P. Diddy was behind the Molotov cocktail attack on his car in January 2012. He said he got a call from his dog sitter that his car was on fire, and at the time by the time he had returned home, law enforcement officers were already on the scene, and he saw a Molotov cocktail and major damage to the vehicle, and then provided a lot of photos of the damage. He also mentioned that after the car incident, the two met at a hotel in 2012 and said that Sean Combs was standing there staring out the window with his hands behind his back like a Marvel supervillain. And then they discussed the relationship he had with Cassie. We discussed pretty much the whole story about how me and Cassie first started to date, to what it was, to how it ended. He said that P. Diddy apologized for all the bullshit and it helped Kid Cudi find some peace with it. And then he also mentions that he remembered Cassie talking about relationship problems all the way back into 2010, and that when they started dating in 2011, Cassie told him that there had been physical abuse in their relationship, but didn't mention sexual abuse at the time. Another quick thing to mention is that Kid Cudi agreed with the defense that he felt he had been played by Cassie in regards to love, like their relationship there. And another thing is, he mentioned that he knew P. Diddy was violent, is what he said. So overall, it was a really big testimony, and a lot of what came from this corroborated the claims from Cassie about a lot of these things. This is obviously a really huge testimony here, but it's far from the only one. A lot of the testimonies that we've been hearing have been very big, at least in my opinion. Even ones like this, which are here just to demonstrate a pattern of P. Diddy's conduct, I think are huge. So, hotel executive Frederick Zamora took this stand in order to talk about the internal notes that hotel staff kept regarding his behavior. So his customer profile had several notes to staff, including one that warned he always spills candle wax on everything and uses excessive amounts of oil. Everyone already knows this fucking freak is the Primarch of dildos and baby oil. I'm sure you've all seen the headlines. This hotel executive comes in here once again to solidify in court this pattern of conduct, like this behavior from him and how common and widespreading it is. Like, there have been a ton of big testimonies, but the reason I want to focus on Kid Cudi's is because his has become very controversial. Online, there was a big debate about him snitching and people calling him a rat. Young Thug had even made a tweet saying, like, damn, he's a rat, which I thought was fake. I thought that was a fake tweet. It was deleted shortly after he made it, but I was really shocked to see the response to Kid Cudi's testimony here. First of all, he was subpoenaed. Second of all, he's a fucking civilian. It's not like he's out there abiding by street code or anything. He is doing exactly what he should here, testifying against a monster. This is P. fucking Diddy. He has been called the Epstein of the music industry. The evidence against this guy and all of his crimes dates back decades of overwhelming evidence and degeneracy to some of the most abhorrent crimes you could think of for a guy like this. Like testifying against P. Diddy is something people should applaud. I'm very surprised so many people had an issue with Kid Cudi coming out here and spilling the beans on Puff Daddy. It's just crazy to me. But I guess I shouldn't be that surprised, because right now there is actually a very big Free Diddy movement. I shit you not. It is as pathetic as it sounds. There's a lot of people that, some of them have been paid. It has been proven that P. Diddy's associates have paid people to try and shill to, like, support his innocence, but there are some people that are so brain rotted and poisoned mentally that they'll get mad at the people that are bringing this evidence forward. Evidence which, by the way, you yourself can look at. There is video footage that P. Diddy himself has also acknowledged. There is so much documented evidence for his crimes for years that you can easily get access to if you want. And it's just crazy to me that anyone's having a big hoopla and making a big stink about people coming forward, corroborating that and talking about it here. Like, I think that's extremely important. I don't know why anyone would be trying to, like, vilify people that are doing their best to hold an absolute fucking villain, like an evil piece of shit like P. Diddy, finally hold them accountable to face justice. Now, of course, he is still going through the justice system. He is still going through the legal process, so he hasn't been found guilty or anything yet. But for people to come forward and just say things like, Free Diddy, he's done absolutely nothing wrong, Kid Cudi's a piece of shit for snitching, like, that is so unhinged. That lunacy is diabolical, really. So anyway, I wanted to give you, like, a little update to the P. Diddy trial and where it's at. There has been so much going on with it, but the Kid Cudi one, I think, is probably the biggest so far. Anyway, that's really about it. So yeah. That advertisement next to this article is crazy. Why do gynecologists recommend this 100% leak-proof underwear to my ma'am? Hey, to USA Today's credit, at least this isn't completely inundated with ads. There's only 4 here that I can see. Usually it's like 7 or 8. Yep, so what came out last night in the P. Diddy case is a lawyer from the Busby law firm has come forward stating that he received thousands of calls over the last 10 days, and they have verified 120 of the victims as legitimate victims, including 25 who were minors. So they have now filed a pending civil lawsuits for it, and he gave a little conference going over kind of like the gist of it. Here, this is a good like summation.
Sex trafficking lawyer Tony Busby made the revelation today.
The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment.
So he's going through like an entire like platinum trophy list worth of allegations and crimes that Diddy is accused of doing with 120 new victims. So it's a lot, obviously. It's a huge fucking chunk, which I don't think anyone's surprised by given the scope of Diddy and the Diddy parties and all of that. But now these are being filed. They're separate from the indictment, so this is different than what Diddy is currently in jail for. And he, the lawyer, is claiming that some of the names, like accomplices, people that engaged with it, people that knew about it and did nothing, are names that will shock people. Why did Nicolas Cage's son accusing him of hitting come up? Why, that's not what?
Investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know.
What is this countdown?
This behavior occur.
Really? That's fascinating. I hate using the internet without an ad block on. Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyway, though, he goes on to say that it's more than just, like, the people that engaged and people that were, like, complicit and everything. And they have, like, evidence to back it up, this and that. And I can tell you, Kevin Hart is fucking sweating. He has been videoed at a Diddy party, and I bet right now he is panicking. That dude's gonna try and book, like, 1,000 rolls ASAP before it all comes crumbling down with Diddy here, I bet. But I was wondering, what names would really shock me? I just feel like everyone in Hollywood is just fundamentally evil, save for some rare exceptions. I don't think anyone that'll be named in this, if they're confirmed to be like a Diddy associate that like engaged with all of this degenerate, awful, illegal shit, I don't think there's any names there that would surprise me. Like maybe Bill Nye would surprise me, or like Humphrey Bogart because he's dead. Like that would be crazy if Humphrey Bogart is in the middle of all this. But aside from that, like, I don't know who else would really surprise me. Maybe, like, Wumpus from Discord would be another one that'd be pretty shocking. Keanu. Oh, Keanu Reeves would be a very shocking one. But I'm so confident he wouldn't be involved here that it's not even a thought that crosses my mind. Like, he doesn't engage with any Hollywood zombies or anything, really. Brendan Fraser. That's another person, though, that also just doesn't really engage with a lot of people in Hollywood. He was even ostracized from Hollywood for a little while. So I just don't think he'd be involved in it either. But those would be shocking. You were right, yeah. Those were so shocking, my voice just cracked. Who would be your number one pick? Like, who do I think is for sure going to be involved in all of this? If they ever release the Diddy list? I think, obvious one, Kevin Hart. He's already been on video at a Diddy party. I think, for sure.
Sexual abuse of minors.
Busby says the victims include both men and women, and he says some of them were minors.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old.
Jesus
We have
Christ.
one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
And he says there's evidence to prove it.
You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals.
Diddy is being held without...
So, we're going to see how this unfolds here, but he also mentioned in the conference they received 3,000 calls, and of the 3,000 calls, they verified, like they did their due diligence, according to him, verified 120 of them as like legitimate victims, and claims that they have a lot of evidence to support it. So it seems like there's quite a lot of weight to that. Like, it doesn't seem like just people trying to capitalize off Diddy for a payday. What it really seems like is now that this case has blown up, like the lid's been blown wide open, cat's out of the bag, everyone who has been a victim for so many decades is starting to come forward with their own accounts. Kind of like the March of the Treants against Isengard. So now they're all coming out, they're all talking about what happened, and apparently a lot of it's being verified. So, could be a pretty big deal. Do you think Bieber will talk? I think so. I think Justin Bieber is another, like, big victim in all of this. I think he'll probably come forward. I don't have a crystal ball or anything to predict it, but I just feel like Hollywood did Bieber so dirty. Like, openly sexualizing him as a child and all of that. Like, I feel like he's probably going to speak about it. Why are people saying DiCaprio? I don't know. Is DiCaprio a good friend of Diddy's? Or is he like a victim? I don't know about the DiCaprio connection to it all. I love this. Look at all these wonderful ads I get in my article. My article's somewhere in here, I'm sure. Just gotta find it. Reports suggest, including Diddy himself, required IV drips. Yeah, this is all what we've known about it for a while, but where is Leo? Here we go. The last occasion they were photographed together was in 2019 when Leo, 49, attended Diddy's 50th birthday celebration. That's crazy. I clicked this link expecting it to have the photograph. What it did is it just linked me back to the same article I was reading to try and farm more ads off of me. You make me fucking sick, Irish Star. We'll see what comes from it. P. Diddy's lawyer hasn't spoke on it yet. He's still too busy fighting on the front lines about the baby oil stuff, so we'll have to wait to see what Mark says. I'm sure Mark will dismiss it as just people like trying to pounce on Diddy for money. That's the angle I think he's going to try and claim. That's just my guess, based on everything I've seen from Mark, but we'll see. I know Costco responded saying they don't even sell baby oil or whatever. I saw. I don't think anyone's surprised. Mark was just fishing for any kind of logical reason. Like, he was doing his best. He is obligated to defend everything Diddy does and has ever done. Like, even with that video of him beating the shit out of Cassie, Mark defends it as like, well, you need to kind of understand the context. She threw her phone at him. So, I mean, you know, like, you know, like, it's not good. It's not good to beat women, but, I mean, we need to remember, she threw her phone. So, like, it's Mark's job. Of course he's going to defend it. God, that LeBron meme has been around for so long, and for the first time it's actually somewhat applicable with Diddy. How will it affect his legacy? If LeBron is somehow included in these claims, and it's, like, verified, it will actually fucking tarnish his legacy. Actually, maybe not. Maybe not. I say that, but then I remember that basketball still celebrates Karl Malone, and he impregnated a 13-year-old. The guy is a rapist, and then they still celebrate him. So maybe it wouldn't, actually. Chat, did Baba Vanga predict this? Oh, we need to check. Yeah, I didn't look at Baba Vanga's predictions to see if they lined up with this. She very well could have. I really do, again, I'll say it again. I really do think Diddy's not going to get Epsteined. I think we'll eventually know the depths of the depravity, and I think we'll know a lot of the celebrities and associates that were engaged. That's my prediction. I don't know who all is going to be implicated beyond, like, the obvious, like Kevin Hart and all that, but I do really think for sure he's not going to get Epsteined. We can only clear one person for certain, 50 Cent. That's the only guy that's innocent. He's been shitting on Diddy for years. Can you imagine, though, if he is actually named in this? That would be... Actually, that name would shock me. That would be one of the few names that would actually shock me. I'm following the Diddy case very closely. I think this is a super serious one that's up there with, like, the same level of Epstein almost. And in following the case so closely, where I have peepers on it at all times, I'm also following his lawyer pretty closely. So I've watched every interview that his lawyer has done. Good old Mark, a real patriot. The majority of what Mark says is just boilerplate standard lawyer lie speak, just a bunch of babble where, when confronted with questions, just basically deflects it or reshapes it. So if he's confronted with a question about the case, he will do his best to steer it differently. So in one interview, someone asked him point blank what he thinks about that video that shows Diddy beating the shit out of a woman. And he says, yeah, that's bad. He basically just says, like, it's not good, you know, beating women, boo, I'm not a fan of that. But we have to remember, he's not being indicted for beating women. Wow, Mark, checkmate. Right you are. We do need to keep that in mind. Surely this video evidence of P. Diddy beating the shit out of Cassie has nothing to do with anything else. You've nailed it there, Phoenix Wright. You're a real shining star, Mark. And that's kind of what he does. He'll take things, be like, oh yeah, no, beating women, not good. But that is not what he's indicted for. In fact, they're coming after him for sex trafficking. Can you believe it? What nonsense. It's ridiculous, and we're gonna prove it in court. We'll give him the razzle-dazzle, a little bit of that slam jam, thank you ma'am, and prove that P. Diddy is an innocent man. It's a bunch of fucking nothing, a giant nothing burger with the way Mark talks about it. I know he knows that P. Diddy is guilty, but he's about to get a fat paycheck for it. So there's not a whole lot I want to talk about when it comes to Mark's interviews or statements, but there are 2 interviews I want to show you and really talk about because they are beautiful. So Mark's been getting asked a lot about the baby oil. Mark has to defend so many awful, fucking heinous, and downright weird things for his client, and he has to defend all of them, mind you, which includes the fucking baby oil, and the way that he tries to defend it is so silly. He is a fucking amazing clown. So if, like, this whole lawyer thing doesn't work out for him, or if he wants to retire and just, like, do something on the side, this dude absolutely needs to get into, like, honking his nose professionally, because this shit is great.
They call them freak-offs. But, you know, back when I was a kid in the late 70s, they were called threesomes.
If these are genuinely threesomes, how do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know.
There's already so much to unpack there. He is trying, with a straight face, to say that the freak-off parties are just threesomes. Brother, open your eyes. There are videos from some of the freak-offs, and it's a lot different than what you're trying to paint it as here. That is just so disingenuous and delusional. I get that it's his job, but man, don't insult the intelligence of every human being on the planet. It's just one Google search away. You can see. It's not just threesomes, and Goober here is trying to pull the wool over your eyes by trying to convince you that it's just threesomes. Back in my day, we used to call that a threesome. Now all of a sudden it's a freak-off or some shit. Like, what are you talking about? It's so dumb. But anyway, to the baby oil. He immediately tries to downplay it like, oh, it wasn't 1,000. Where'd that made-up number come from? That's a fucking fake news fib right there. And the interviewer's like, no, that came from the attorney. Like, no, that's the official statement. And he's like, no, they must be lying. Surely they're lying about that.
And I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need 1,000 for. I mean, he has a big house. He buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home.
You can see the cogs in his brain turning in real time as he starts to come to the realization that there is no way to try and justify or explain away 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That quantity is absurd, unfathomable even. And he starts to like break it down, and he starts to go like and argue against his client, like 1,000 bottles of baby oil? That just doesn't make any sense. Who would possibly need that amount of baby oil? Do you know how much mileage you can get out of a single bottle? The best he could come up with is saying that since his houses are close to Costco, he's probably just buying it in bulk. I decided to look it up, just out of curiosity, what the biggest bundle of baby oil you could even buy in bulk is, and the biggest pack that I could find was 5. A 5-pack of baby oil. He would need 200 packs of that. Just picture that for a moment. Imagine stacking 200 packs of baby oil, 5 packs. If you stack them on top of each other, from bottom to top, it'll probably be about as high as a small office building. Like, that is crazy. And you're going to sit there in front of God and anime and try and make the claim that the freak-offs are just threesomes and the 1,000 bottles of baby oil is unrelated somehow or used for threesomes. Like, Mark, please, brother, oh my God.
I mean, have you sat in a parking lot of a Costco and see what people walk out of there with?
Not 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was. Let's just say it's a lot. Okay.
No, that's not okay, Mark. Why don't we use the actual U.S. Attorney's report on how much baby oil they confiscated from his property? You can't just wipe your ass and throw that number away because it makes your client look like an even bigger psychopath. You can't do that, Mark.
I've been with him since 8 o'clock this morning, and it's about almost 3 o'clock now. He's just laser focused. He's engaged. He's helpful. He's confident. You know, we're going through our defense as we do every day, and his spirits are relatively good.
Hey, Mark, I just want to say that information does not make me happy. I don't want to hear that P. Diddy is in good spirits. He shouldn't be. That guy is an absolute fiend. He's a villain. He is evil. I don't want to hear that he's in good spirits or having a positive outlook on things. I want to hear that he's fucking miserable, because that's what he deserves for what he's done for the last few fucking decades that he has been terrorizing the entire music industry and ruining lives. So, Mark, your reporting right there actually put a frown on my face. You know that? I want you to know that.
How do you explain the baby oil and the lubricants? 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was a lot. I mean, there's a Costco right down the street. You know, I think Americans buy in bulk, as we know. And you know, this is consensual adults doing what consensual adults do. You know, we can't get so puritanical in this country to think that somehow sex is a bad thing, because if it was, there'd be no more people.
He's really sticking to the Costco theory here. Just sit outside of Costco and look what people come out with. It's crazy stuff. I'm sure he's not the only person to walk out of Costco with 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's definitely the normal thing that happens. And then he tries to put a spin on it that it was consensual adults engaging in sexual activities. Mark, one of the big things about the freak-offs is the non-consensual nature of some of the shit that P. Diddy would force the guests to do. It's like a crucial component of this. And I understand, like, he can't go out there and say anything like that, but the evidence is overwhelming. So I just don't, I hate hearing lawyers speak about a case in a situation like this where the client they're defending is clearly guilty, because then you can just see the lies spilling out of their mouth, and it's just an awful thing to even just look at. But he then does try and put like that last little bow on it by saying like, oh, we can't be like this. We can't be all yucky about hearing about sex. It's important. Imagine if there wasn't sex, there'd be no more people. Whoa, galaxy brain, Mark. Wow. I see why they pay you the big bucks. But yeah, I just wanted to show you these two interviews here because I love seeing Mark squirm when it comes to the baby oil statement and the baby oil line of questioning. It's really just so good to watch Mark try and tackle it. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. All of you probably know by now, they finally caught the dastardly diddler. P. Diddy has been arrested, and I imagine that scene looks straight out of Batman Arkham Asylum when they have like Joker strapped to that thing walking him through the insane asylum. This guy is a menace that terrorized the entire music industry for decades. I've gone over his lore a lot, so I'm not just going to regurgitate all of that. There's a lot of new things I want to talk about that's been happening as a result of him being arrested. The first thing that happened almost immediately is they put him under suicide watch. It was like a speed run to get him there. I don't know if that's standard protocol or if they found something that made them believe he might hurt himself, like he was smuggling razor blades in his butthole, or maybe they were worried that without baby oil he'd just take his own life because he doesn't know how to live without baby oil. I really couldn't tell you. Maybe this is just textbook procedure. That's what they're saying it is, calling it procedural suicide watch for high-profile clients, but I've only seen this once before in a case like this, and it was Epstein. And in his case, it was more like suicide don't watch, because it didn't really do much. Very suspicious, but we're not here to talk about that. Point is, though, this happened immediately upon him being taken into custody for the most part, like within a couple of days. And since his arrest, tons of clips and videos and information about who associated with P. Diddy has been coming out. And it's a lot of big celebrities. P. Diddy was a very well-connected person. There were huge names at his freak-off events. There's a lot of people that absolutely knew what P. Diddy was doing. And there's going to most likely be a lot of big celebrities that get implicated in some heinous shit in their connection with Diddy. One person right now that a lot of people are having their eyes on is Usher. I mentioned Usher as well when talking about P. Diddy being arrested, and it's because Usher has gone on record talking about his time at Puffy Flavor Camp, which again, I think is the most on-the-nose shit ever. Like, that just sounds like an evil diddler organization. Puffy fucking Flavor Camp. So anyway, when Usher was a kid in the 90s, he lived with P. Diddy for a year at this Puffy Flavor Camp, and he went on Howard Stern's show and talked a little bit about his experience, kind of vaguely, but mentioned multiple times that there were things going on that he just couldn't understand, and probably shouldn't have been experiencing. When asked if he would send his kid to a Puffy Flavor Camp, he said, hell no. This is someone who lived through the evilness of P. Diddy and did nothing to prevent it from happening to others, like Justin Bieber, another Puffy Flavor Camp veteran. A lot of Bieber clips have surfaced from when he was a kid in Hollywood, and it is fucking foul. Not just in relation to P. Diddy, but in general, the way Hollywood, like, openly sexualized him as a kid is absurd. Like, that shit is crazy. Anyway, though, back to Usher. He's never spoken out against Diddy or anything, whether that's out of fear or maybe he really thinks that what happened to him is just the norm in Hollywood, because P. Diddy was so connected and so many artists went through him and were put through horrible shit with P. Diddy because they were convinced that they had to go through that in order to be successful in the industry, because P. Diddy told them that, and people told them that. P. Diddy would be like the kingmaker. So you'd have to be, be fucking waterboarded by baby oil and all kinds of like depraved shit for P. Diddy in order to be successful. Otherwise, he might ruin your career before it even starts. He was the boogeyman of the industry. So whether Usher is afraid of what P. Diddy might have on him, or if he doesn't view what happened to him as like a bad thing, I have no way of knowing why, but he's never spoken out against Diddy, which has made a lot of people really suspicious of Usher. And then yesterday, he deleted all of his tweets. He then put out a quick statement saying, account got hacked and damn y'all ran with it, crying emoji, crying emoji, crying emoji. See you tonight. I mean, I don't think there's anyone on the planet that believes that. You'd have to get up pretty early in the morning to try and pull this fast one on someone. Like, who in the world would take that hook, line, and sinker? You're telling me a hacker went on your Twitter and the only thing they did was secretly delete all of your tweets? Who was the hacker? Your PR manager? What? Usually when an account gets hacked on Twitter, two things happen. Either it starts spamming slurs and like unhinged tweets, or it starts promoting crypto scams. Why would someone hack him just to scrub his Twitter from potentially damaging tweets that might be used as evidence potentially? Like, the timing of that makes no sense. That must be like the most helpful hacker of all time. Who hacked this guy? Captain America trying to protect him or something? Like, what? I can confidently say that's a load of baloney right there. That is some dirty barnacles. Usher did not get hacked. But maybe there's a chance he himself didn't go through and delete them. He might have had one of his managers do it. Like, that's possible, I guess. But either way, it doesn't matter. It was a conscious decision to go through and scrub his Twitter. It had to be. That's the only thing that makes sense. Diddy gets arrested, and then a few days later, his whole Twitter account is scrubbed, and he had a very close relationship with Diddy? I mean, that's super suspicious. And then to try and claim that it was a hacker who did it secretly? Like, what? It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Now, there was another celebrity who also scrubbed her Twitter, and it's Pink. I saw her name floating around in regards to, like, scrubbed Twitters as well, where people were claiming Pink had just scrubbed all of her tweets as well because of Diddy's arrest. So I looked into that because I'd never heard about Pink and Diddy being close or anything, but I also wasn't the most tapped into Hollywood and the music industry connections. And what I learned is that Pink didn't just scrub her Twitter in light of Diddy's arrest. She actually deleted all of her tweets back in February. So 7 months ago she did that as a way of just stepping away from social media because she said she didn't enjoy it. So it doesn't sound like it has anything to do with Diddy. And from everything I've looked at, she's never like been publicly around Diddy. Like, it doesn't seem like they're friends or anything. I can't find anything of her talking positively about it or attending one of his freak off events or anything. You know, I don't see any connection like that, so I don't think she deleted her tweets because of P. Diddy. I do believe Usher did, though. I don't think it's some kind of coincidence that his Twitter account gets mysteriously hacked and he has all of his tweets deleted after P. Diddy's arrest and after the public becomes really well aware of how many people P. Diddy was close with. That just, something smells a little fishy there. So I think this is just the beginning of celebrities and P. Diddy like putting the spotlight on the awful shit that they were all privy to. Like I said, P. Diddy is a very well-connected person for decades. Apparently, he was also a big enthusiast of filming some things at these events and would use some of it as like dirt on people that attended them, and that'd be another way he'd use to keep people's mouths shut about some of the stuff that would happen there. But I do think that the tapes will probably get confiscated at some point, and I think that information will probably lead to a lot of celebrities getting into some big hot water. Now, there is a celebrity that I haven't mentioned yet that has been in the spotlight a little bit as a result of P. Diddy being arrested, and it's Kevin Hart. So, Kevin Hart is in a P. Diddy video. At one of the Freak Off events, Kevin Hart is there. And people are claiming that after P. Diddy got arrested, Kevin Hart closed all of his restaurants. Kevin Hart has a fast food chain called Hart House, and they are claiming that he shut down all of those restaurants as a result of P. Diddy being arrested, trying to like get ahead of it. But from what I can see, he actually closed down those restaurants a week before P. Diddy got arrested, so that might not be the reason for it, but it also could be, because I think everyone knew this day was coming with P. Diddy getting arrested, because so much evidence has been coming to light so quickly. So there is still that chance, but I do think it's more likely Kevin Hart shut them down for other reasons outside of that, and that Kevin Hart is probably still guilty of some horrible shit at these P. Diddy events, but I don't know if that was the reason behind closing down the restaurants. Again, though, I do think there's going to be a lot of information that comes out about a lot of celebrities as a result of P. Diddy's arrest. So, just wanted to give a little update here because there's a lot happening quickly when it comes to P. Diddy and this arrest, so that's about it. See ya. It's finally happening. P. Diddy has been arrested. Anything is possible! This is a moment for celebration. For so long, P. Diddy has gotten away with heinous crimes that tons of people knew about. From car bombs to assaults to sex crimes, it's like P. Diddy was going for some kind of high score, trying to catch every possible crime like a Pokemon. He has terrorized the music industry for decades and ruined so many lives. In recent times, the evidence against him to support all of the allegations that have existed for decades has been overwhelming and led to a large investigation against P. Diddy, and now it looks like we're reaching the climactic finale with him being arrested. When this story broke last night, the indictment was sealed, but this morning they said, "Open the gates. Let them see." To sum it up, he has been charged with sex trafficking by force, transportation to engage in prostitution, and racketeering conspiracy, alleging he ran an enterprise that engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, or kidnapping, arson, and other crimes. He abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct from 2008 till now. The allegations mirror 11 civil complaints filed against him since 2023. Really, that's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the P. Diddy lore. He is a horrible menace that has been around for decades. Also mentioned is that he had thousands of bottles of lube and baby oil that were seized from his home during those raids as part of his freak-off supplies. He also had tons of narcotics as well. So Diddy became infamous for his freak-off parties that would go on for days, where he'd force attendees to not only stay there and perform non-consensual sex acts in front of him, but he would just be pumping them full of drugs, and he would be watching while furiously masturbating like a coked-out goblin. So in relation to drug charges, he'd allegedly distribute cocaine, oxy, Xanax, GHB, MDMA, and ketamine. I'm going to be very brave here for a moment and say, that's not alleged, that is confirmed. The amount of drugs this guy had here, he was like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, but drugs instead of candy. The amount of freaky shit they found in his house must have been like entering a separate dimension. Thousands of bottles of lube, like so much lube would make Bad Dragon's headquarters jealous. Thousands of bottles of baby oil, more than Johnson & Johnson's warehouse probably. I wouldn't be surprised if they found the goddamn Death Note among those freak-off supplies. His legal team seems very optimistic that things are going to go well for P. Diddy. They even released a statement saying, "We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office." Hi, Mark. The fuck is wrong with you, man? Are you serious? Like, I understand it's your job. I get that, but holy cannoli, an unjust prosecution, huh? So what if there's overwhelming evidence to support the decades worth of allegations against Mr. Combs here? And so what if there's that video of him brutally beating Cassie in that hotel? He said he's sorry. Did we forget about that? He apologized. Let's all move on from it. Racketeering? You're gonna try and come after him for racketeering? Mr. Combs' brain is so rotted from years of drug abuse, he can't even spell racketeering, much less engage in it. This is a load of hooey. It's unjust. A miscarriage of justice, even. He goes on to glaze him a little bit, sucking on his cock, calling him a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, proven philanthropist. He then has the gall to say he's imperfect but not a criminal, and then says he's been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reverse your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. See, that's the thing, Mark. People have all the facts because there's so much evidence with the facts. There is video evidence to support the facts. What do you mean? Again, I know he's just doing his job, but that shit is so shameless and foul. I don't know how you sleep at night when you have to defend someone that is obviously guilty like P. Diddy. It's fucking wild to me. P. Diddy, 31 minutes ago. Sean Combs arrested in Manhattan after grand jury indictment. They done caught the diddler. They also had that video drop of him beating the shit out of her recently. And then he released the apology video about it. It's always, like, I understand it's their job to defend their clients, but it's always just so crazy. A statement from Mr. Combs' legal team said that they are disappointed with the decision to prosecute him and noted that he had been cooperative with the investigation and had voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Ugh. We're so disappointed that they're actually trying to hold him accountable. Like, we're really upset about that, actually. Yeah, there's overwhelming evidence to all of these awful, awful crimes that he's committed, including that video of him beating the shit out of the Cassie. But, like, why would you, like, I thought this was a free country. Why would you try and, like, punish him for that? I'm assuming the apology video didn't work. We don't know yet. We don't know. Maybe they'll send the apology video out to the powers that be, and they'll be like, wow, he is reformed. This is a good man. We can't punish him for... He's changed. He has changed so much. Look at this apology video and how sincere it is. We're dropping the charges.
I was up. I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Now, Combs
it takes... I'm not going to show any of that. It's brutal. It takes a big man like Puff Daddy to take full responsibility after saying he's going to make no excuses and immediately starting the video with an excuse about hitting fucking rock bottom or whatever. Ah, man. A beacon of strength, really. It took a lot. A lot of courage for that apology video. I respect 50 Cent being a massive hater and selling the documentary Diddy Do It. 50 Cent has been, like... I would say an elite level hater of P. Diddy for quite a while. I don't remember how long ago this was, but there's a comment he left on an Instagram post of Diddy's that I think about from time to time and giggle on. It was P. Diddy riding a bike, and 50 Cent left the comment under it saying, "We all know there's no seat on that bike." That shit, like, I was grabbing my belly when I first read that one. I thought that was so good. Earlier this evening, federal agents arrested Sean Combs based on a sealed indictment filed by the SDNY. United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams, said in a statement, "We expect to move to unseal the indictment in the morning and we'll have more to say at that time." Federal grand jury in Manhattan returned an indictment against Combs, which set in motion his arrest. The charges remain sealed. Oh, keeping him a mystery right now. A little loot box of charges here for him. What was the name of his camp for kids? Where you, like, brainwash kids and shit? Was it Puff Daddy Pastry Parade or something? What the fuck was it? Puff Daddy Love Care? Puffy Flavor Camp. That's what it was.
The singer and producer
Puffy Flavor Camp. That's right. Basically like abducted kids. That's exaggeratory. He didn't like abduct them himself, but that shit was foul. The 48 Hours with Justin. Oh yeah. The P. Diddy clip with Puffy Flavor Camp. He was like, I don't remember the whole. I'll pull up the clip, I guess, in a second. But there's a clip where there's an interview and he's like, no. Justin's got 48 hours with Puff. He's got a 48 Puffy hours. No interruptions. It'll be good for him or something. It's so weird. Fucking diddler. In plain sight. Right under everyone's nose for years. Finally, though, they're acting on all of the shit. Much like Epstein, it feels like everyone knew he was on some heinous shit, but no one came forward because he's so influential. Well, that was one of the big things. If I remember correctly, he had like a lot of dirt on everyone through throwing his Diddy parties. So I think that was a big piece of leverage for him in keeping people quiet for so long. But yeah, tons of people knew all about Diddy and the terrible shit. Have you heard the stories of the P. Diddy Defense Force? I imagine not. These bugs crawl around the deepest, darkest corners of Twitter, constantly trying to fight for the honor of Puff Daddy. These rotten scoundrels aren't paid for their services by P. Diddy to fight his PR battle for him or anything. The only thing they get paid in is a couple of updudes from other inmates of Arkham Asylum that join them on this crusade. The Puff Daddy Patriots have been in full force red alert because a lot of new evidence has come out about just how evil P. Diddy is and has been for years in the music industry. There's overwhelming evidence that has existed for a long time, as well as brand new discoveries that have really painted a picture of just how fucked up P. Diddy is and has always been. And the Puff Patriots have been trying to deny all of it for him. A lot of them just kind of default to like, oh no, women are lying manipulators, so these bunch of whores are trying to get an innocent man in trouble. And they're not a large number of people that do this, mind you, but having anyone that defends P. Diddy is incomprehensible to me. And now this group of goobers is swallowing a tough pill here because a video came out that not even they can defend. It's surveillance camera footage from 2016 in a hotel where P. Diddy chases down and then beats his ex, Cassie. Obviously, I can't show this video, but it is brutal. It is a disgusting thing to witness. And there is no trick photography here. That's not a deep-faked AI or anything like that. It is footage of P. Diddy mercilessly beating his then-girlfriend, which corroborates the abuse allegations that have been made against Diddy for a long time now. P. Diddy also came forward and issued an apology video today. He actually sat down and did a fucking YouTuber apology for this. Let's go ahead and take a peek.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
He hits rock bottom, he hits women, he hits crack pipes. There's nothing this guy won't hit. The way he immediately starts this apology video is so fucking phony baloney. It's so difficult to reflect on the dark times, but I've got the strength to do that because I'm built different, so I'm going to reflect on the most painful moments of my life. When it comes to strength, I'm like a Super Saiyan being able to sit down and talk about this. Like, and then he goes on about how, like, it's inexcusable, he's not gonna make any excuses. Brother, your whole fucking career is built around making excuses for your abusive behavior and all the really fucked up shit you've done. And you are still constantly doing that. Even if it's not you directly making the excuses, you hire your fucking team of lawyers to do it for you to keep yourself out of jail. This is a guy that should have been locked up for life a long time ago.
I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now.
Turn yourself in then. You take full responsibility for it, you're that disgusted, walk to the nearest police station and turn yourself over. Although I'm not even sure if the police department would do anything about it. They issued this statement once the video started to go viral. They said, "We are aware of the video that has been circulating online allegedly depicting Sean Combs assaulting a young woman in Los Angeles. I've said this before and millions of people have said it millions of times before me, but the word allegedly does so much heavy lifting in this day and age, it's fucking crazy. Like, I know why they use it in the legal sense, but like, we all just watched P. Diddy beat Cassie, and he himself came forward to confirm that it was him beating Cassie, and they still use the word allegedly. That is like actual Looney Tunes level cartoonish dog shit there. You can just drop that word. The video has been circulating online depicting Sean Combs assaulting a young woman. Like, there's no gray area here. He has confirmed it. Everyone can see it in the video, but whatever. We find the images extremely disturbing and difficult to watch, and the office added that it would not be able to take action against Combs. If the conduct depicted occurred in 2016, unfortunately, we would be unable to charge as the conduct would have occurred beyond the timeline where a crime of assault can be prosecuted. As of today, law enforcement has not presented a case related to the attack depicted in the video against Mr. Combs, but we encourage anyone who has been a victim or witness to a crime to report it to law enforcement or reach out to our office for support from our Bureau of Victim Services. Gotta tell you, sports fans, that bureau doesn't sound like it's doing a whole lot of service to the victims if it's going to say like, oh no, your assault, that took place way too long ago. Our hands are tied. We're not doing anything about that. Move on. Like, that's not exactly the best service to victims. How is someone going to come forward and be like, look, I got beat by my ex in this hotel, and it was a traumatic experience that I've been quiet about for so long out of fear for my life. Is there something we can do about it? And they just say, nope. Now, this isn't Cassie that's approaching them, by the way. Like, this video wasn't released by Cassie or her team, at least not from what I've been able to tell. I get the statute of limitations. Like, I do understand that in certain contexts, but when it comes to, like, assaults, like brutally beating women and just all kinds of things, like violent crimes, I would imagine there shouldn't really be an expiratory period there, like it's a fucking loaf of bread, like a Best Buy date, that you have to act within this window or else that's the end of it. Now it's kaput. He just gets away with it. I think it's super fucking stupid.
I went and I sought out professional help. Now they're going to therapy. They're going to rehab.
Oh boy, I'm starting to tear up now. Yeah, this is some heavy stuff here, P. Diddy. This is tough. Would you like a side of French fries with that? Like, what the fuck, man? Why is he trying to summon the wambulance here? He tries to tell his own little sob story here about how it was so hard for him. Wah, wah, wah. I'm the real victim here, actually. It was tough for me, too. I highly fucking doubt he's done any therapy or any rehab or anything, because he has decades worth of allegations against him for these type of violent, abusive tendencies. And the allegations are backed by mountains of evidence and continue all the way to present day. So I highly doubt at any point in his life he's ever sought professional help for him being a violent maniac.
Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
It's so weird if he's that remorseful about the situation, why he didn't apologize back in 2016, why he tried to bury it to the best of his ability and deny all of the allegations and try and paint all of his accusers in the worst possible light to make it seem like they were untrustworthy and lying about the whole thing. It's so weird how all of a sudden now that the video is out there and it's irrefutable proof of all of these allegations made against him, that all of a sudden now he's got this real heavy burden on his shoulders and it's so disgusting and he's truly sorry for it. He's very apologetic. It's so odd that, like, now he's really apologetic about it, now that he's been caught. It almost seems really disingenuous to me. But anyway, P. Diddy is one of the most well-documented monsters in the music industry, and it is shocking that he still is not in prison. But with more and more evidence constantly coming to light about this guy, I'm optimistic that eventually justice will be served here. But anyway, just wanted to give you a little update to what's going on with P. Diddy here. The apology video, if I was to put that on the YouTuber apology tier list, that would be a strong F. Fucking terrible. Absolutely atrocious. That's about it. See ya.